Hi, my name is Jessica, and this is an intro and an update to a Pan Those Eyeshadows project. I have been doing this project since August 2nd, but I never filmed an introduction, so my bad. But this is a really popular project that I have become obsessed with. The Pan Those Eyeshadows project was started originally by a YouTuber named Alexi, and I've just been watching these Pan Those Eyeshadows videos nonstop. I've been binging eyeshadow panning videos, and I just wanted to do it myself since I have so many eyeshadows. I have so many that I don't use. I wanted to really make the most of my collection, and I thought, what a fun and creative way to do it. This project challenges me to use colors maybe I wouldn't normally reach for. This project also helps me to make use of my collection that I've spent good money on and is just sitting there waiting to expire. So I'm really excited to get this started. Please do not judge too harshly. I'm not the kind of person who does that when I watch YouTube videos, especially Pan Those Eyeshadows videos. This is just kind of a ramshackle, renegade, not low-tech version of a YouTube video. So thank you all for understanding. So unfortunately, I never filmed an intro. I just got really excited and started keeping track of certain eyeshadows. The next one will be a lot more satisfying when I get to roll some new things in and show you some more progress on these eyeshadows. Okay, so now let's get into the eyeshadows. The palettes I've been working with have been the BH Cosmetics Take Me Back to Brazil palette, the Natasha Denona Bronze palette. This one is depotted into a Z palette, but it's the Viseart Theory palette in the shade Amethyst. And then I have my Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette and my Anastasia Beverly Hills Sultry palette, which I was really excited to have as a part of this project. All right, so let's get into the shades. Well, I might as well start with this one since it's in my hand. This, again, the Sultry palette. And this is a palette that I had only had for maybe a year when I started this. Yeah, I bought this palette right around my wedding, so it has like wedding memories attached to it. And for that reason, I think I kind of neglected using it, like kind of trying to protect it and savor it. But now I'm really excited to be getting more use out of this. And oh, I guess I'll tell you what shade I'm working on. The shade I selected randomly was the shade Birch. And since August 2nd, today is October 5th, it's been 2 months that I've been using this, that I've been doing this project. I've used this palette exactly 30 times, this shade. So here it is, here's my Soft Glam palette, and here's that shade, Birch. 30 times I've used it, and still no pan. But I did get a bonus pan over here in Fresh, the shade Fresh. So that was exciting. It actually just happened today. So a little bonus pan, but I know I'm about to hit pan on this any day now, maybe like 3 or 4 more uses. I use it pretty heavily, so I'm pretty surprised I haven't hit pan on it yet. I'm wearing it in my crease today. And yeah, so this also has allowed me to use other shades in this palette. I've used Bloom a couple times. I've been really loving Rose Quartz. I use Pearl a lot. And I've used a couple of these other shimmers as well. So yeah, enjoying having this in the project, and I'm enjoying getting use out of it. So the next shade that I've been working on is from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette, and it is the shade Sultry. So I randomly selected this shade here. I've used it 10 times. So you can see I'm getting a little bit of a dip in there. Yeah, so I don't know, this isn't my favorite shade. It's a really dark color. It's kind of like, and it doesn't really stay pink on the eye. It kind of gets like this, like almost a brownish undertone on my skin. So you can see I'm wearing it today on my lid. Yeah, I've really just been throwing it on my lid these days because I just want to like get it out of the project. So it looks really nice with the color next to it, rose pink, and it also pairs really nicely with the Sultry palette since it is this shade Sultry. I wonder if this shade inspired the Sultry palette because they do kind of have similar vibes. The next shade is from the Viseart Theory palette in the shade Amethyst, and it was shade number 3. I don't know if it has a shade name, but this is the palette, and it's this shade right here, like the mid-tone shimmery shade. And I had used this shade a couple times before this project started. And since this project started, I have used this shade only 3 times. So not a big dent in it, but I think these pans are really big too. So I'm not quite sure how long that's gonna take, but yeah, I'll use it at least like a handful of times before I roll it out. I am gonna establish some rules for myself. I haven't decided exactly what those rules are gonna be yet, but maybe I'll think on that and close the video with that. So yeah, I will roll that out eventually once I hit my goal of how many uses. All right, so the next palette that I selected, or the next shade, was from the Natasha Denona Bronze palette. This was a total impulse buy when it came out, and I don't regret it, honestly. It's a beautiful palette. I love bronzy tones. Sorry, friends, I don't want to blind you. It's really bright. And the shade I'm working on is that shade there, Suntan. Sorry, it's really bright. Yeah, so you can see there's like a slight dip in it. I've used this shade, oh gosh, 22 times. So I almost always pair it with Birch from the Sultry palette. And again, I've never tried to pan a Natasha Denona shade before, and I think these pans are pretty big and pretty densely packed, so we'll see what happens with that one. I don't see myself hitting pan on that before I roll it out, but I'm enjoying using it for now. I'm enjoying having this palette out. And the next shade, the final shade that we're going to talk about, is from the BH Cosmetics Take Me Back to Brazil palette. Now, when I rolled this palette into my random generator, I was super excited because I was really hoping to have a pop of color in my color story, and I thought that would be really, you know, just like creative way to integrate this palette into my daily looks. But however, when I went to see what shade it was that I had selected, it was this shade down here, this like iridescent topper shade. And I think the shade's intended to kind of go over other shades and change the hue. It's got like a greenish undertone. But yeah, it's a topper shade, and I don't really love how it looks with my other shades in my selection. So I have not really been using it with the other shades. However, I have been using just this palette as a whole. I've been doing some colorful looks. You can see I've like used some of those yellows and blues and purples and pinks. No, not much of the pinks yet, but a couple of them. But yeah, so I'm counting this palette more as the Pan That palette, just so I'm like using it. If I use this palette 15 times, I'll be comfortable rolling this one out. But for now, it is like pushing me to do more colorful looks. And in total, I've used this shade on the bottom 5 times. So yeah, that's not bad for a shade that I don't really like or don't really get use out of in my day-to-day life. So those are all my shades. Oh, I'm sorry, let me swatch them for you. I always forget that. Do you count swatching as a use? Fellow panners out there, tell me. Do you count swatches as a use? I mean, I feel like you should, right? I'm not the best at swatching. So it's really a pretty neutral palette, other than this total left ball thing, this eyeshadow over here is out of left field. This not taking me to Brazil. All right, so let's see if I can do this. Oh my gosh, Jessica. All right, so here are the shades. I have starting Oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. I'll go this way. All right, so here are the shades. I'm gonna swatch these a different way next time. This is the BH Cosmetic like iridescent shade. This is Natasha Denona Suntan. This is the Viseart shimmer shade from the Theory Amethyst palette. This is Birch, and this is Sultry from the Soft Glam palette. So yeah, it really is kind of a nice palette. It's just that one of the green one is just so awkward. It just doesn't fit in, so that's okay. I'll be excited to get rid of it next time. All right, so I think my rule for this project of Pan Those Eyeshadows, for my personal Pan That Eyeshadow project, if it's a shade that I really like, I will use it 30 times before rolling it out, or I will hit pan. For example, the Birch shade, I know I'm gonna hit pan on that, and I know it's right around the corner. So even though I've already used this shadow 30 times, I'm gonna push through, I'm gonna get to pan, and then I'll move it out. If it's a shade that I'm really having a struggle with, like the BH Cosmetic iridescent shade, then I will use it at least 15 times, or I will roll it out after 3 months of being in the project. All right, everyone, so again, thank you for bearing with me. I hope you can kind of laugh along with me. I'm not a really serious person, and I'm not gonna take this seriously. This is just something fun for me. Again, I'm obsessed with these videos. I'm really excited to keep going through that, through this project and rolling new things, and excited to share it with the community of panners out there. All right, so thanks again, and if you like me or you like following Project Pan, go ahead and subscribe, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you next update.